Welcome to Whiskey Adjacent, the series where I take a look at whiskey-ish type things. I'm your player one, Richard, and today I'm going to be taking a look at two beers from Goose Island's Bourbon County Stout series. I have the Chocolate Praline and I have the Cherries Jubilee. I'm going to give myself a sample and let you know, are these some bottles that you should be seeking out? So grab your controllers, pour yourself a dram, and let's get into it. Before I dove into the world of whiskey, beer was my adult choice of beverage. I worked my way through ales and pilsners, sours and IPAs, and eventually landed on stouts as some of my favorite. Something about those dark, rich, and complex flavors, often giving off notes of chocolate, espresso, and even sometimes some nutty notes, really drew me in. So it was no surprise that when I really started to dive into whiskey, flavors from Detling, American single malts, and even this collab with Goose Island and Bardstown were ones that I tended to gravitate towards. They all had similar notes of that chocolate, espresso, and even some nutty flavors there as well. So when I came across these two bottles from Goose Island, I knew that I needed to pick them up and give them a try. Now, Goose Island is a brewery that is located in Chicago, and they do yearly releases where they have their stouts that have been aged in bourbon barrels. So this first one that I have over here is their Chocolate Praline. Now on the back, it does give you a little bit of information. It says that this is an imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels with chocolate nibs, hazelnuts, cashews, dates, almonds, and other natural flavors. Now it's just over a pint, and I was unable to locate where the alcohol content was. So on their website, I believe it says it's around 14.5 ABV. Now I also picked up the Cherries Jubilee. Just like the other one, it is an imperial stout that was aged in bourbon barrels and finished in cognac barrels with cherries, orange zest, and other natural flavors. Just like this other bottle, it's a little bit more than a pint and has a similar ABV of 14.5. So to save ourselves a little bit of time, I went ahead and gave myself a pour. I'm expecting to get a lot of the flavors that are similar to what is listed here on the back. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. So the first one we're going to look at is that Chocolate Praline. So on the nose, okay, it's a lot. If you've ever had an imperial stout before, it smells dark and thick, almost like molasses. Very rich. Chocolatey is the nose that I'm getting on this. Just dark chocolate with an underlying sweetness. There is a slight nuttiness, which I'm guessing is probably coming from that almond, the cashews, and the hazelnuts. Okay, with the hazelnuts, that explains it. It does remind me a little bit of, why can't I think of what that's called? The hazelnut butter. My children love it. I'm sure it'll come to me in just a moment. But we're going to go and get on the taste. Cheers. That is like drinking a dessert. It is thick. It's heavy. It coats the tongue. You get chocolate that goes straight into just this lingering sweetness. And as I'm talking, it just feels like that chocolate is just coating my tongue. It is so good. I'm trying to look in, so I can pick up the dates. So it does have a sweetness to it. I was trying to pick out like what that note is. Not sugar or caramel. It has like almost like an artificial sweetness to it. I eat some like granola bars or energy bars that use dates as their source of sugar. That's very reminiscent of it. But this is really good. I'm going to get another taste. Cheers. So the nuttiness is there, but it's once you get that chocolate note, it's underlying note. Chocolate first, nutty, sweet at the same time. Now, if you have never had a stout before, this is not a quick sipper. This is not something that you chug. This is something that you just sip on. It should take you a good while to finish a stout beer. Man, that finish is good. As I'm talking, it reminds me a little bit of if like Tootsie Roll could make like a dark chocolate, this would be very, very close to it. One more, just because. That is so good. Now, before we move on to this other one, I should point out that they have several other releases as well. I only had these two in my area that I was able to find. They do have one that it was a baklava finish. I didn't read any details about it, but other than just the description on the tag. And then they have one that they worked with Parker Heritage. They were able to get a hold of some of their barrels and have it finished in there. So I only have these two in my area. So if I can find those other ones, I definitely want to get one. These are a little bit more expensive. If you are not familiar with paying for like these exclusive beers, these are about $25 a piece. So a pretty hefty sum. Make great gifts. They do tend to come out. I think these were released around Black Friday. So great Christmas gifts if you keep an eye out for them next Christmas or holiday season. But definitely worth the money, especially if you have a whiskey or a beer drinker. So enough talking. Let's move into Cherries Jubilee. I'm very excited about this one because when I was speaking to the gentleman at the store, I don't typically gravitate towards cherry products. Something about just artificial cherries really just are off-putting. But he said it was finished in cognac, and of course it uses real cherries. So I'm expecting lots of sweet notes on this. So I was very excited. So we're going to go ahead and get it on the nose. So a lot of similar notes that I get from here. The chocolate is very present, but you definitely get that cherry note as well. It doesn't smell like artificial cherries. There's a dark fruit cherry note to it. So let's get it on the taste. Cheers. Oh, wow. I like raspberries. Raspberry chocolate candies are some of my favorites. That's what this reminds me of. Is just like around Valentine's Day, you kind of get like strawberry and chocolate, raspberry and chocolate. That's what this reminds me of. You're hit with that fruit note first, then chocolate, and then it's almost like those two worlds collide. This is really good. I saved this one to go second on purpose because of that cognac finish. I was hoping that I would enjoy this more. I honestly like these about the same. They're both great. This one, just because of that raspberry note or that fruity note that I'm getting, puts it just slightly on top. I'm going to get in on the taste again. That is so good. If you like dark fruit flavors with chocolate, this is for you. This, again, just makes me think of like Valentine's Day or chocolate-covered strawberries, some sort of chocolate red fruit. I can see me, out of these two, probably drinking this one a little bit faster than the other one. Now, I did mention, I'm going back and forth, getting a little excited. This one's also about $25. All the stores in my local area had both of these. You can also find there's a 4-pack of smaller beers. They were not, there's no like special cherry cask or other description on them. I was thinking about picking them up. I think it was like $20 for 4 smaller ones, but I wanted to give these a try. So back over here, when my wife and I went to celebrate my 40th birthday, we went to Kentucky visited several distilleries, including Bardstown. We did a tasting, and this one, the Goose Island Bardstown collab, was one of our favorites. So we ended up leaving the distillery with several other bottles, but this one was one of the first ones that we grabbed. Now, I may have been telling a little bit of a white lie when I was telling you that these are the only two that I could find. I actually found another one in my area, and this is the Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond Double Barrel Aged in 7-year bourbon barrels. Now, if I were to go over all three of these, the video would be quite long, and y'all got other important things to do. So we're going to save this for another whiskey adjacent video, but I can't wait to get into this one as well. So if you find either one of these in your area, I highly recommend that you pick them up, give them a try. They are a little bit more expensive for a beer, but I mean, if you're spending $50, $75, $100 on a bourbon or a whiskey, surely you can spend $25 on a beer. If you like chocolate, nutty notes, then the Praline is probably going to be for you. If you like a slightly fruitier, chocolate-covered strawberry, raspberry, dark fruit note, then this one might be for you as well. In the future, great gifts. They are seasonal, so the flavors probably change at the end of the, or excuse me, every release. And like I said, these dropped on Black Friday of this year. All right, this video is a little bit longer than our normal whiskey adjacent videos, but I appreciate you sticking until the end. As always, I'm your favorite player one, Richard. Have a good one.